My name's Noel. I'm a psychotherapist. Welcome to this video blog today. It's on eating disorders, and I'll go through what you can look out for as possible signs of disordered eating, and thoughts about how you might get some help around that. Quite a lot of people, we think, have eating disorders, 3 to 4% of the population, depending on age, and don't receive treatment, sadly. Like with any sort of mental health problem or behavioural health problem, the longer you leave it, the more likely it is to become chronic and for other issues to emerge, such as depression or anxiety or even self-harm sometimes around the disorder, and for it to have a large impact on the people around person who has the eating disorder as well, and to impact upon the family and other relationships. So the sooner you can spot issues, the sooner you can get treatment, and actually there is quite a lot of treatment around. And I guess the question to ask is, why is it that people don't get treatment when we know very, very successful ways of helping people with eating disorders? I guess it's because people just don't spot the signs of it. So it's always useful to have a sort of checklist of things. Now, again, with any checklist, it comes with its own health warning, as it were. Don't diagnose people unnecessarily, or don't diagnose yourself unnecessarily. These are warning signs to begin a conversation, maybe with the person involved or with a professional in the field, such as myself. So the sort of things that you might look out for as issues around sort of having disordered eating are control over food, people becoming obsessive about what they do or don't eat. Everybody, particularly teenagers maybe, can be a bit faddy about their food, but there's a marked difference between somebody who may go through phases of fads and wants to become vegan for a while, etc., or vegan full term, and to somebody who's actually very, very controlling about every aspect of their food, and controlling and reducing the amount and the type of food, and getting rid of carbs, for example. Won't have any carbs, will only have proteins, etc. Exercise is another issue to look out for. If somebody's excessively exercising, particularly in eating disorders such as bulimia, for example, people will eat normally, look normal, but then will go and obsessively weight burn in the gym to the point where they damage their body physically. Energy is another sign that there may be something. Obviously, food is an energy source, and if somebody's restricting the food intake, their energy levels may drop quite significantly, and they don't replenish that with a new fuel supply by eating a meal. So look out for that. Odd behaviours during and after meals. If somebody's leaving during the meal or just after the meal, they always go to the toilet, for example, they may be purging. Excessively drinking water during a meal. Excessive use of laxatives, etc. These types of odd purging behaviours are things to look out for. If they become unusually interested in the meal preparation, and again that control issue around the food, no, you can't put that into the meal because it is a carb, you can't put that into the meal because it will fatten me, you can't put that into the meal because... so again, controlling how everything is cooked and monitoring how everything is cooked. Obsessive... concerns about weight issues. I'm too fat, I'm too thin, I'm too this, I'm too that. And to the point where people have an unreal relationship to their body. It becomes quite marked in some people. You may look at them and they say, I'm fat, and you look at them objectively and say, there's no way you could consider yourself as fat. The person may well be seeing themselves in a very different way to the way you see them. So look out for issues such as that. And mood, we've already noted that it becomes more chronic. The lack of ability to control the food may lead to the person developing all sorts of mood disorders, as well as the isolation that comes and the shame that comes from the behaviour in the person themselves. So extremes of anxiety, extremes of depression, extremes of isolation from social contact, etc. Again, these are just a list of things, and you would want lots of them to be there, not just one. You want several of them to be there for you to be concerned. If there's just one issue, a conversation with people is enough. But if you are concerned, don't worry, there is help out there. Community-based approaches are incredibly successful. There's lots of support groups out there for people with eating disorders. And for long-term recovery from that, that's sort of how you would want to approach it. There are specific treatment programs around, treatment centres that provide help for eating disorders. But for long-term recovery, you'd want people to get involved in sort of community-based support. I'm going to put a link in the blog to a very interesting story in a newspaper called The Atlantic about a young person who got help from an Instagram community in terms of dealing with their disordered eating. It's a very inspiring story. Stress and trauma are quite often triggers for what we think are latent issues around eating disorders. So if your family is going through something in particular and it's affecting your children, or if you're going through something, you suddenly notice that there's issues about your food, it may well have triggered what we call an epigenetic or underlying eating disorder condition, because we do think that this thing is epigenetic. It's built into family systems and passed on down the generations. I think most important, the thing I want to leave you with at the end, the most important thing is to begin the conversation with people that you think may have issues around food and eating in a very gentle and compassionate and open manner. If possible, if you can meet people who have had that issue, they can often reach out in a way that if you don't have the issue yourself, you might find it difficult to, by sharing their own experience. Don't blame the person, certainly don't get into a big fight about it, which often can happen, particularly in teenagers who might just seem very moody and faddy about their food, but actually there is a genuine issue about disordered eating going on. Try and avoid the conflict, if you like, and begin the conversation in a very compassionate, open and warm manner. Apologies if that's teaching you to suck eggs. I'm sure you are like that with the people in your life. But it's very easy to get into conflict around this, because the issue often is about control, and people get very angry around control issues, or can get very angry around control issues. If eating disorders do look like they may be an issue in your life or somebody that you're close to, do get in touch, and we can have a chat about that, what's available in terms of assessment and diagnosis and treatment, and what the prognosis is going forward for you and the person, the loved one in your life. So give me a call, 07506 319 745, that's 07506 319 745, or email me info@noelmcdermott.net, info@noelmcdermott.net. Hope that's been of use. Do leave comments at the end of the video or on the website if you're watching this there. I'd love to get your feedback on whether these things are helpful or not. I design them to be helpful, and if they're not, I'd like to hear about that. If they are, I'd like to hear about that. Thanks for dropping by, and hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.